What's up, everybody? Welcome back to TikTok TV. This is episode 2 of TikTok TV. I found some spare time, and I don't really like to say spare time. I like to call it time to think, time to brainstorm, time to reach new levels in life, time to elevate. That's what I like to call it. I don't really like to call it spare time because I don't feel like any of us have spare time, okay? Because with that, what we think is spare time, we could be using our brain cells to mastermind and figure out how we are going to live comfortable for the rest of our lives, how our children are going to live comfortable. Let me close this. How our grandchildren, if we have any or are going to get any. I don't have any currently. I have the 7 children, but I have no grandchildren, okay? So, anyway, let's go ahead and get right to it. So, today's episode, I decided to talk about losing my son to the prison system at a very young age. Okay, excuse me. My oldest son, who is 29 years old now, I lost my son when he was 18 years old to prison. I kind of blamed myself, and then I kind of didn't blame myself. The reason I say I didn't blame myself, let's talk about that first. The reason I shouldn't have, I'm not going to say didn't because I did. The reason I shouldn't have blamed myself because I did spend my life, catering to my children, making sure they were in every sport, making sure they were on every stage at competitions, including my son. He used to win every talent show in Richmond for rapping. Like anybody that knows me, I've been writing raps, doing raps since I was a kid. My mother used to say I would worry them. I would be at the her bedroom door, after hours saying, "Mama, please let me just tell you one more," and I would come. She let me come on in. I appreciate her for that. She, even though we didn't have platforms that she can put me on to help me get to the level that I needed to get to. Y'all excuse the sun and all that. Y'all, the point is not seeing me. The point is hearing the message. So anyway, yeah, I appreciate my mother for that. She listened. She let me, get my raps out. Who else was I gonna tell? Of course, my sister used to listen to him. It was only my sister and myself. My mother only had 2 children, so it was the two of us, and she wasn't into, the whole rap or dancing or whatever. But my mother had us in cheerleading, everything you could think of. Whether she had the money or she didn't, she would make sure she would come up with the money. So that's where I got my drive and motivation from, to always never say what you can't do. Never say that you got to be stuck in the same position for the rest of your life. Okay, anyway, boom. I get off track. So let me get back on track. Okay, so like I said, I made sure that my son was in football, everything. I thought I was doing everything right as a parent. There was a 2-parent household, my husband and myself. It was 2 of us in the household at all times. There was no breaks. There was no breaks. Out of me being with my husband 31, almost 32 years, we separated for 13 days. And it wasn't even no separation. He went to a sister house because he claimed me and my oldest son jumped on him. But that was a lie. He was drunk. Yeah, he was drunk. He just assumed we jumped on him. And we didn't. But anyway, did we? No, I'm just playing. We didn't. So anyway, he went to sister house for 13 days out of 32 years. That's not a breakup. Okay, boom. So anyway, back to the excuse me, the message at hand. I blamed myself for this reason. We're talking about me being older now and looking back, all the way back. He's 29, keep in mind. I'm talking about me being older and looking back on the situation like, dang, I blamed myself. Let me take these glasses off because I don't need them. I'm not reading anything. I blamed myself because I was like, you know what? I never sat down and said, stay away from doing things you have no business doing. Stay away from, just say the streets, the hustle, all of that. Knowing that I was a hustler, knowing that I was for the streets a lot. And when I say for the streets, like I was in every hood, dropping chirpers off, which is pagers. I was in every hood selling beepers. Anybody that knows me know I was the the beeper girl. I was one of the beeper girls. There was three of us. Um, that's the type of stuff I was doing. I was always on anything that would make money, which is why my mind right now is so money motivated, because I was always money motivated. So I knew what the streets came with. I knew what the streets came with, and I never sat down and I never told my son, stay away from the streets, meaning at an early age on up to, I should have been telling him this, especially, I feel like I should have been telling him this from 13 on up, being that young men and young ladies, don't get it twisted, it's the females too, get themselves involved in a lot of stuff at a young age, going to juvenile, all of that. My son never went to juvenile. My son was never in trouble, ever. My son went to school every day. My son played on the football team. Never in my wildest dreams would I have thought that my son, the love of my life, my firstborn, the person I deem as the king, period, never would I have thought. I used to have teachers calling me saying, could you please put it on speakerphone? And get the class in order from my son's class. I used to have the teacher say, whatever you did to raise your son, could you please let me know so I can give these parents something the teacher probably should have never been saying. But I'm telling you, this man called me twice. And I was telling the class, y'all better sit down on speakerphone and shut up. Everybody loved me. All my son's friends, my daughter's friends, they all love me because I'm down to earth. I know how to approach people. You don't approach no child or no teenager with some straight bull crap. You got to come at them from their level if you want them to pay attention and hear your message. So yeah, they was all quiet. It was all good. My son would come home and tell me everybody was cracking up when we got out of school. Boom, boom, boom. And everybody just deemed me as the cool parent. Yes, I was a cool parent. Was I my kid's friend? Never. I was stern. I was a stern mother. All of that. So anyway, fast forwarding. My son tells me right now, Mama, I believe if I would have got some of this stuff out in my youthfulness, I would have never made it to prison. If I would have known some of this stuff, I would have never made it to prison. And my husband, he a different type of person. Like, he'll let my son do stuff, sneak and do stuff, all that kind of stuff. Because most men are just different like that. Like, they want their son to, I don't know. I don't even know how to I'm not even going to put no words on that man. But anyway, so I was always the head of household, period. I was the head. And I get that strongness from my mama. Like, my mama regulated everything, and I saw that in our household. So naturally, I grew up, and I took right behind my mama. I regulate everything. Don't nothing pass without my permission. Nothing. Like, no, you can't go to your daddy and ask for nothing. It's all got to come through me. And it's still like that today. Sadly, I think I should have given that man the opportunity to have a voice with his children, and I didn't. So, blame my mama because I watched her do it, so I did it. And I'm kind of watching one of my daughters do that too, and I don't know if I really, really like it to a certain extent. But anyway, back on track. He asked, can he go to trick-or-treating? He was 17 years old with all his friends, trick-or-treating, hang out, do what they do on Halloween. Guess what I did? I said no. He still, to today, he said that scorned him. All of his friends were like, Duna, why you can't come? Because everybody know Duna mama strict. Duna mama pull up at the football field and make sure Duna at practice. If Duna coach call and say Duna ain't here, because keep in mind Duna driving a car off the showroom floor, a Charger, because his mama was a hustler. Yes, all of that. All the way to the fact, that the police pulled up to the school. They told the Charger on some bull crap, said I got it on a hustle, got the car on a hustle. That's neither here nor there. I did 1 year home detention where I paid $140 a week to stay in the comfort of my own home instead of going to jail for 1 year. My sentence was 1 year in jail, but I paid $140 a week for a year with no income. Okay? I had no income, but I paid $140 a week. We ain't going to get into right now on this episode how I paid that, but I'm going to get into it on another episode. Okay, so I paid that. I'm going to tell y'all, when the police took my son's car that day at school, I had just got it put on some nice rims. The windows was tinted, everything. It was literally a brand new Charger off the showroom floor for his 16th birthday. When they took that car from my son, I seen my son's face. Next day, this is no cap. Next day, oh, this man looked dead on Santa Claus. Wow. Anyway, next day, legit, I had my son a Chrysler 300 sitting on some nice paint on some 26-inch rims. Like, don't come embarrass my son at school, because that's not what type of time I was on. Like, no. Okay, boom. And I'm not bragging. I'm just telling y'all the true game of a hustler. I was a hustler. I made sure. So when my son went back, he went back smiling to school the next day. He didn't have that frown. And it, you know, it wasn't really about what people thought. It was about me, as a parent, feeling extra bad that my son's car got confiscated at the school. Okay, boom. Anyway, let's move on. My son started doing things right when he turned 18 years old, and he finally had a voice. And, you know, he was still, my son has always been respectful. My son has never disrespected me or any other adult. Every adult I come in contact with, people that's going to watch this video, and y'all know my son, y'all know he's always respectful, period, dot. Forget what he do, what he done. I don't care about all of that right now. The fact is, he's never disrespected his parents, ever. My mother passed away bragging on my son and how he catered to her and how he respected her always, okay? So anyway, fast forward, he turned 18. He did a little bit of wilding out, meaning like hustling, trying to get to the money, you know, saw his mama was getting money, so why go to work if the money is falling in your hands, in so many words. Okay, boom. The police showed up at my mama's door. I wasn't living with my mama. I was living somewhere else. I'm not going to say where I was living all that. Police showed up at my mama's door. My sister happened to be going there before work. She called me. She was like, the police just kicked mama's door down. The police, and they looking for Duna. And my whole world, I'm telling you, stopped. Keep in mind, I was on home detention. No, boom, no, I wasn't. Was I on home detention? Help me think. I got to come. Uh-oh. I got low battery. I got to come back to y'all on that, whether I was on home detention or not. I cannot remember if I was on home detention. Just know the police kicked my mama's door down. The police kicked my mama's door down. And then my sister called me to give me a heads up. We whoopty-whoop, me and his daddy, we, you know, flushed some things out and did some things, you know, to boom, boom, bye, bye, boom. Okay, so anyway, that's when my nightmare began. I was like, damn. And here's the cold part. My son never had to do that. I gave him everything. And that was the problem. That was the main problem. My mama used to always say, Tasha, don't get them kids all that stuff. Make them work for it. Tasha, don't buy them all them Jordans. One day you ain't going to be able to afford them. Now I'm always be able to afford them. That was my big mouth. Now, I had some times where I was not able to afford them. And I'm not happy about the things that I did, but I do not regret the things that I did in my life. Sometimes I say I could have did this, that, and the third, but that's not how the game goes. You can't plan out how you're going to do nothing. You cannot plan out, but you also cannot dwell on your past and penalize yourself from the past, because I've suffered from that. I penalized myself a lot from my past, the things that I did. Okay, so anyway, he didn't get no case from that. Boom. Because everybody was too sharp in the game, and he was innocent anyway, so boom. Okay, all they had was a car that resembled his car. They didn't have no license plates or nothing, but you kicked my mama whole door down. My mama don't fool with the police. My mother is not that type of person. Like, I was so hurt that she had to go through that. But she wasn't hurt. All she wanted to make sure is her grandson was okay. So yeah, he turned himself in. We had an attorney. We had the bail bonds there. Turned himself in, brought my son straight on home. Boom, boom, boom. That was that. And then it just kept escalating from there. It just kept going on and on. It was just like the fast money was coming so good. Just keep getting it, keep getting it, keep getting it. Till boom. I'm not going to tell the story about what happened, how it happened. Just know the sentence was 3 years in prison. No way around it. Keep in mind, they tried to give my son 12 years at 18 years old. 12 years. I was angry. I was upset. I was pissed. I wanted to fight. I wanted to, blame myself. I wanted to shut out the world. All of that based on my son getting 3 years. I had an attorney, everything. That's why he didn't get the 12 years. He got the 3. If ever in any type of situation that involves criminal activity, any criminal cases, especially if they felony matters, strike matters, all of that, I highly suggest, get an attorney. Don't ever go with the public defender. My son had a great public defender twice. I ain't gonna cap. We knew we didn't need the attorney, but he has done. This is the thing that bothers me. He's a great person, literally. Like a great person, literally. People have their shortcomings. That's it, that's all. People have their shortcomings, and he had a shortcoming. He had made a decision. You make your own decisions. He made his own decisions, and when he started going to jail, I kept saying, son, don't do this. One day you're going to do something that I'm not going to be able to help you out of. And boom, that was the situation that I could not help him out of. They gave him $500K bail when he was only literally supposed to have like between $50K and $100K bail. But because they saw that we kept bailing him out every time he go in, and I think he saw that pattern too, they stuck him with $500K bail. My mama did everything she could to get him out on that bail, but none of the bail bond companies wanted to do it. Nobody wanted to do it. So he sat there till he finished his 3-year prison sentence, and boom, there it went. My whole life went downhill from there. I could not eat. I could not sleep. I could not function. My mama prayed with me daily. My auntie prayed with me daily. It still bothers me right now today to know that my son at 18 years old had to go to prison with hardened criminals, people that, have done like the worst of the worst. And so I was just like, dang, I was scared for my son. My son is tough. I'm telling y'all, my son is tough. But being a mother, you can be as tough as you want to be, but in a mother's eyesight, you're still going to be my baby. You're still going to be my heart, my soul. You're still going to be the reason I breathe. So he kept saying, I'm good, I'm this, I'm that. And I'm like, nah, bro, this wasn't for you. And then I said, you know what? God is in control of all of this. You can't control this situation. You got to sit back. But I still didn't stop hurting. I still didn't stop crying. And I put money on his books. I made sure he had all his packages. I did the same stuff I did when my son was out. Okay, I took care of my son in there. It's nothing that any of my children could do, and I mean nothing. Ain't nothing my kids could do to make me turn my back on them. Because you know why? Because I'm a strong believer in God, and we have all done things that God does not like, and God has made it clear. One sin don't outweigh another sin. So I'm never passing judgment on my kids, on anybody. I'm not passing judgment. I don't wish prison upon anybody. I don't wish death of a child upon anybody. And I feel like if I'm this hurt, what does a person who lost a child feel like? Like I could talk to my child still. And my daughter had told me one day, she was like, Mama, don't be selfish because people that can't see their kids. And my son even told me that. Like he would call and everything's fine, but I'm sitting here living this prison sentence. I did the sentence. I did that whole bid. I feel like I did it by myself. Okay? And the reason I feel like I did it by myself is because I was the only one sitting there suffering. Okay? I have awesome kids. My son went to a 4-year college, got a scholarship to Grambling State University, all black college. Okay? My son went down there with ulterior motives as well. But the report card came back. I don't know if you call it, the transcript, the final grades, all that came back straight A's and B's because he was that brilliant to make sure he got his work done while he was doing the fool. That's a whole nother episode. Okay, so boom. I wanted to talk about this on episode 2 to let y'all know that things happen in your life, but you got to keep going. I've been through so much stuff, and I'm going to tell y'all on so many, my phone dying. I've been through so much stuff, but I'm going to tell y'all on so many of the episodes, different things. This episode is something that was bothering me and still is bothering me, so I want to share that with y'all first. Please don't pass judgment on my son. Please don't ever think that your kids are exempt from ever getting caught up. Because I done seen people make posts on several occasions. I done seen and heard people talk about if my child was in there, I wouldn't buy them nothing. My own sister has said that at one point. If my kids go to jail, I ain't bailing them out. I ain't buying them nothing. Blah, da, 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 boom, boom, boom. Well, guess what? To each his own. But don't say what you won't do until you've been in that position, okay? If you ain't never been in that position, I feel like you shouldn't speak on it. If your kids ain't never been in jail, I don't feel like you should speak on it. If your kid have never done a prison sentence, I don't feel like you should speak on it. Unless you're giving some words of encouragement, but to sit there and bash and say, I ain't doing this and I ain't doing that, or if my child, you can't say if your child, baby, because one day it might be your child, and I don't wish that on nobody. I promise you, it's not good. Your heart gonna be hurting. It's not a good feeling, okay? So please, y'all people that judge other people, stop judging. Because I did right by my children and still do right by my children. I set them up a foundation, but I failed at part of the foundation. Please don't be me. Don't be me. I redeemed myself from a lot of stuff that I've done in my past. I am a changed person. I've always been a good person. We're not going to get that twisted. I've always been a great person. I ran a dance company for 20 years of catering to other people's children, okay? And I loved it. I enjoyed it. I loved these people like they were my own family. I loved these children like they were my children. I would leave my children at home and cater to other people's children, okay? I was not paid to do that. I was not paid to do that. Even when we started charging monthly dues, the monthly dues could not dare touch what the pay rate could have been. Could have been, okay? So I just appreciate the fact that I was able to help my mama take her childhood dream as a dance company owner and make it a reality. Okay? I always resort back to remember my reference track. Bay Area Steppers is my reference track. Okay? Now I'm on TikTok and everywhere else, and I'm known as the bestie lady. I'm humble. I'm kind. I'm inspiring. I touch hearts daily. I have floods and floods of DMs. I have people requesting videos from me. Paid videos. I get paid to do this now. Okay, I get paid big money. And that's God's way of saying, here is your reward. I was never looking for a reward from the Bay Area Steppers. Never looking for a reward. But God said, here is your reward. You did so good over 20 years with these children. Allowed them into your home. You know, if they didn't have uniforms, I purchased them. Anyway, this is not about that. There I go again. I get off. Anybody know me? Once I start running my mouth, I'm finna end this though because I didn't want this to be past 25 minutes. If y'all could please leave a comment, kind words that might encourage somebody else down below. Hit the like button, hit the share button, whatever you can do. Everything is free to do on this app right now. Okay? Thank y'all for watching TikTok TV. I'll see y'all next time.